So Prudential was started in 1875 by a gentleman by the name of John Dryden in Newark, New Jersey, and it started with offering burial insurance to working class families. And so, that is, and over the years, we have certainly built upon that, but we have been unwavering in our commitment to providing that protection and stability for families.
Welcome to the Leader's Edge podcast. I'm Sandy Laycox, Editor-in-Chief of Leader's Edge. In this episode, sponsored by Prudential, we are on site at the Council's Employee Benefits Leadership Forum with John Trevisan, Head of Distribution for Group Insurance, and Mark Devine, Vice President, Head of Life, Absence, and Disability Product for Prudential. Having attended EBLF for many years as a broker, John starts us off by reflecting on the value of the meeting, the connections made and the knowledge gained as he now attends on the other side of the trading partnership. We then get into Prudential's 2025 Benefits and Beyond survey and some key benefits takeaways from employers and employees.
So this is my 22nd year attending EBLF, and so I think this is, I call this the Super Bowl week of benefits. I think this is absolutely just the best week. The relationships that you develop, the opportunity to build new relationships, the opportunity to further relationships, I think is incredibly important. I've had the unique experience of being on the broker and consultant side for a number of years and was part of the CB board as well. And so the connections that I made through that, what I learned through that, and the people that I met is just invaluable. And so coming to this event every year I look forward to because it gives the opportunity to see what those in the industry are doing, what's top of mind, what are people thinking, what are organizations focused on, and how can we help from an insurance company standpoint, how can we help meet the needs of our broker and consultant partners as well as our mutual clients.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and for me, a few less years attending EBLF, so this is my second year. So I'm at a different point in kind of my EBLF journey, but I'm excited this week to be meeting new partners and to be visiting with those partners that I already know and deepen those relationships that, John has helped kind of forge relationships over, the 22 years that you've been here, and I'm just starting to kind of get to that depth with folks, and so looking forward to continuing to meet new folks and hear from them. I think coming from the product world, and one of my responsibilities is building product solutions for our customers, but having the opportunity to be here with our distribution partners and hearing from them what needs that they're seeing from their customers in the market and how we can evolve our portfolio and work on our products to meet those needs is one of the most really valuable things that I take away from EBLF.
That's all true and such great reasons to be here, and we're very excited to have everyone and kick it off. So as we get into our health and benefits conversation, let's talk a little bit about the current benefits landscape that you all are seeing. You have recent research that your organization has done titled 2025 Benefits and Beyond. Can you tell us a little bit of the takeaways that you all found from that?
Sure. So Benefits and Beyond is a study that we had done several years ago, and we took about a 7-year hiatus from it. So last year was the first year that we resurrected it.
Wow.
This year is the second year back, and we really focused on this particular survey, understanding what employers and employees want. And one of the key components of that is we talk about modern benefits. And what we found is that there's actually a fairly large discrepancy between everybody wants modern benefits, but what does modern benefits mean? And what modern benefits means to an employee can be very different than what it means to an employer. So there's a disconnect there. And that's something that we found to be a bit surprising and something that we wanted to drill down a little bit more on. So that was one of the big themes. The second theme that we had that we found is that employers obviously want to address well-being, and they believe they're doing a really good job of addressing well-being. What we found when we asked employees that question is that they don't believe that employers are as focused on that. And so again, there's a disconnect. And part of that is because of what what an employer believes employees value and what employees value as it relates to well-being, whether that be financial, social, health, physical. And so that was a second big finding of this. So those are two of the things that I think we found incredibly insightful into this, and a lot of opportunity as a result.
Yeah. And I think the reality is not a new dynamic. This quest for employers to deliver modern benefits and this need for employees to the seeking that employees have of having those benefits be provided by their employer. It's not new. Employers have been trying for years to deliver better benefits to retain and recruit the next generation of employees. And so we're seeing this gap, as John talked about, where they're not quite meeting up to the gap there. And I think on that well-being front, one of the things that kind of came through in Benefits and Beyond was the idea that financial wellness is really still underpinning a lot of the needs that employees have. So we saw some very clear themes around additional support for leaves and for paid leaves as something that employees were desiring to have as a financial tool. Because the reality is they're still dealing with, many employees are dealing with, day-to-day financial concerns and living paycheck to paycheck. And they're really looking for their employers to do more for them when they have a critical moment happening and they need to step away from work to care for a family member or care for themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah, employers are, for example, when you think about financial wellness, they're saying, well, we provide a 401k retirement plan. Right. And a lot of employees are saying that's great. But frankly, there's a lot of us that are living paycheck to paycheck. And how do you make that easier for us? And you have employers who are offering a very wide array of benefits, which is helpful. But employees are saying, you know what? That's great, but I want the benefits that I have to work better because it's confusing. It's hard to use. I don't know, I need more guidance. And so there's a big component to it where it's not necessarily more breadth, but it's the ease of using the benefits that are available.
That modernization piece.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the definition of modern is different, again, between what an employer thinks is modern,
right,
or many employers, and what employees think.
Yeah, so, and it's changing every day.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Next, we discuss how Prudential is working with broker partners to address the disconnects found in their survey.
First and foremost, brokers are the first call that an employer makes. Brokers and consultants are their lifeline to be able to offer a comprehensive benefit program to attract and retain their employees. And they are the trusted advisor. And so, but at the same time, the benefits landscape is getting even more complex. Costs are going up. Resources are less available than they were. And there's still a lot of change going on, right? The fact that we're having conversations about IT and technology integration as a primary driver of a discussion is very different than it was several years ago. Yeah. And so it's becoming, from a broker and consultant standpoint, harder to meet the needs of the employers because they're asking brokers and consultants to do more. They're asking them to not only do more, but they're asking them to do a broader range of things. And so different skill set. And so we've done a few things around that and working with brokers and consultants. We were talking to a consulting firm and one of their leaders recently, and that individual said, if insurers focused on the blocking and tackling and made that less noisy, it would make it so much easier for us. Yeah. And so, because then we could handle all of the additional breadth and all of the additional skill sets that we need to focus our time and attention on. And when we have to do that by focusing on things that are the blocking and tackling of what insurers should be doing, that takes time away from our ability to create that much more value for our clients. Mm-hmm. And so, I'll say service is something that and we took that to heart, right? I mean, I think that there is a huge opportunity for everyone to do what they do well to reduce the noise so that things that should be working work well, and our brokers and consultants can focus on the emerging needs rather than the things that are already in play. Mm-hmm. So that's one. Secondly, and Mark will talk a little bit more about this in a minute, but developing products and solutions to meet the changing needs. And we talked, a little bit about how that, frankly, is different than it was a few years ago. And then, I would say it's just a close working partnership with our brokers and consultants. We spend a lot of time understanding what their challenges are, understanding what the challenges of their clients are and our mutual clients, and how can we adapt and continue to move forward and develop new solutions to meet those changing needs, and making sure that we are very closely connected with them to be able to help them deliver what employers are looking for. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think, and John said something key there too, that the complexity is increasing and the resources on both the employer side with HR teams, with our partners and our brokers and consultant partners, the resources are less than they've been. There's pressure there. And so, I think service, absolutely number one critical, and 100% agree with John. And I think number two is the having products that really are designed to meet those challenges that employers are facing right now. So not just anchoring to products that we like because the margins are good or because they're easy to build and launch, but really focusing on those areas where employers are challenged and their employees have challenges. So think about the expanding state paid leave landscape with new states passing new mandates. So, increasing our breadth of product there so that we have turnkey solutions so that HR teams don't need to think about how do they comply with the new laws. Obviously, they're going to think about it, but they can turn to us for support there, and we can have turnkey solutions so that they know that that's covered, and they can turn and focus on some of those the other challenges that they're facing. I think on the servicing front too, there's a component of when we build product, when we launch product, and when we service those products that we do it in a way that there's compassion and there's care associated with that too. I think that employers and brokers, our partners, are expecting that from us, that you're not just going to pay the claim that you are supposed to pay, but when an employee is interacting with us, they're going to have a positive experience. They're going to deal with someone who's empathetic on our side, and they're going to have an experience that is in line with what our partners expect from us. And if we do that, consistently, then that frees up all of our partners to focus on what's coming next, as opposed to focusing on holding us accountable.
And that's where you see a lot of the product development that we have focused on expanding. What are the things that an employee needs when they have an event, whether it be a life claim, whether it be a disability event? What are the things that we can do to make it easier for them and therefore for their employer? And what additional support can we provide to make that transition or get them through whatever it may be that they have as easy as possible, and give them as much as support as possible, whether it be to return to work or whether it be to address the loss of a loved one or what it may be.
We then get into the specific benefits related technology needs among brokers and clients, and the challenge and importance of making the IT connection seamless.
Yeah, I think that's a key area of need. The scale of technology that now backs kind of our space and the experience. If you think of HRS systems and BenTech and the platforms that employers are using to manage their workforce, they're more capable and more complicated than they've ever been. And so there's an expectation that as a carrier, you're going to connect with that ecosystem, no matter what type of platforms an employer is using, but you're going to make those connections seamless. And I think through our kind of BenTech integrations and the APIs that we develop, we're looking to remove the burden from employers on implementing our products, and we're looking to simplify the process for employees. So if they're going to go out on a leave, that can be done in the employer environment as much as possible, instead of the employer having to come to our environment to manage the situation.
Yep.
And that also helps brokers and consultants because they spend a lot of time managing those connections. And to the degree that we can make it easier, again, that's one less thing that they have to focus on, to be able to, one less technical thing to focus on, so that they can provide the strategic value.
And there is that added support too of having experts on our side that can explain how do we integrate, how does it work, that can kind of lead that charge with a platform so that we're taking that work off of the broker as much as possible. And to your point, John, they want to understand it, but they can't possibly know how every single carrier interacts with every single platform. So it's on us to bring those experts to bear and to really impact the experience.
Absolutely.
And I would say the product breadth too. As we continue to expand our products, as we continue to do more in the supplemental health space, as we continue to do more in the medical stop loss space, in addition to all of the absence and the disability and the life, et cetera, having that integration makes it much easier because you're integrating once as opposed to having to do it with multiple different times.
We turn our attention to opportunities for growth, new product development, and better client service, as well as the industry's biggest challenge, attracting and retaining new talent.
I still see a lot of opportunity in kind of leaning into those areas where there's high complexity and really absence management. There's a big opportunity in the market for carriers to solve that problem in new ways. So bringing solutions that, fully integrated absence managed solutions where we've got seamlessly integrated, FMLA management, company leaves, state paid leave mandates, and really integrating that into a single experience. There's a lot of opportunity for us to do that even better. And I think we continue to see, growth for us kind of tied to solving that problem.
And I would add to that the customer experience and the focus on keeping with the technology theme, making it easier, making it a better experience for the individual, whether it be filing a claim, whether it be understanding when they should enroll for benefits, whether it be following up on where am I in the claim process, what will be happening next. And so we've invested a lot of time and energy into making that customer experience even better than it is today. And we see more opportunity. It is a world of iPhones, right? And so people want to do everything from the palm of their hand, and insurance is no different than that, and employee benefits is no different than that. And the expectations, I think, over the last few years are that experience should be the same whether I'm looking at my insurance and employee benefit program or whether I'm buying something on Amazon.
Yep, absolutely.
I think there's an interesting, we were talking about this over breakfast too, there's an interesting opportunity that kind of intersects with that in terms of technology and consumer experiences, but also employee experiences, and specifically the talent that we're trying to recruit to our industry and to our company. I think we have an opportunity as an industry to show the purpose behind the products that we offer and really connect that to the next round of talent coming up. It's both a threat and an opportunity for us, I think. I think back to my career starting and telling people I worked in insurance and kind of getting the eye roll and like, oh, that's great. But really, we do. Our products are very important. They support people in these really critical moments of need. The way that we support employees while they're on a leave or support a beneficiary, when they've lost a loved one, those are just incredibly purposeful and important moments. And I think there's an opportunity for us as an industry, for us as a company, for us to help people kind of see this as purpose-driven work and to want to join our industry and to help us kind of address the challenges that people have in these moments.
This industry, the broader industry, has great people. As you said, it's purpose-driven work. We're helping people at a time of greatest need, and I think that attracts a certain type of person to this industry. And I think we just have the opportunity collectively to do a better job of making sure people are aware of that, because I think when they are made aware of it and when they see, that purpose and they see the impact of what we do and how we're helping employees, they get excited about it. And we just got to tell that story more. And I think the second piece on the opportunity side, and we're going down a little bit of a rabbit hole, but I'll do it anyway,
It's okay to go down a talent rabbit hole.
is mentoring. I think that one of the things that we have to be very careful of as an industry is making sure that as we are bringing that new talent into organizations, that they have the opportunity to be mentored, because there is not as much in-office work. There is not as much connectivity as there was before. And I think you can probably get away with that for a couple of years. But as we're now, several years beyond, I'll say the COVID environment, I fear that we lose a generation of learning that could be detrimental to the industry. And I think that those of us that have been in this industry and have had mentors and have had the opportunity to spend time with people, I think that we owe it to the younger generation to pay that forward.
Are you all focused on that as you recruit young talent into Prudential? Do you focus on that type of mentoring and really bringing them along?
We do. Yeah, we have a few different programs. We have an internship program. We have a new hire program where people are paired up with individuals and work very closely and provide that opportunity to really have I'll say water cooler talk, even though you might not be at a water cooler. Some instances you are at a water cooler, depending on what geography you're in. But making sure that is available. And then we also, within the organization, do some gig work where if you're interested in doing something different than you're doing today, short-term assignment where you can kind of test the waters and determine whether that's something that's of interest to you and pursue further as a career change or adjustment.
Moving into another crucial issue for the employee benefits industry, the challenge of continuously rising healthcare costs.
That's one of the reasons that we entered the medical stop loss business, because we saw the opportunity to help with that and to provide, going back to, I think there is employers that want to work with fewer insurers. And so the ability for us to be able to offer a broader set of solutions, not only for employers, but for brokers and consultants, so that they have, fewer organizations that they need to engage with to provide that experience for employers, is something that we take very seriously and see a huge opportunity in. And so stop loss is one of the areas that we've done that. Certainly, I think, and just from the risk side, the opportunity to be able to help manage the cost of care. And then our supplemental health benefits, and with high deductible health plans continuing to be incredibly prevalent, with the impact that a high deductible or coinsurance can have on an individual who is, has a significant event. Going back to the Benefits and Beyond study, where living paycheck to paycheck, that deductible becomes a massive problem, and so the supplemental health solutions provide an avenue for people to be able to handle that, whether it be a deductible or coinsurance, whether that be childcare, that they may not be able to, access as a result of not working, et cetera. So we see a big opportunity in that, and we'll continue to drive forward with that.
Keeping on the topic of challenges, we discuss the current risks to the industry and tailwinds that might help address them.
We're always looking at economic factors in our industry, and it's been an interesting few months for sure. When you think about the economic uncertainty, when you think about consumer price index going up, when you think about consumer confidence being down, but then you look at the market and you see the most recent earnings that many companies have had, not necessarily in this industry, but just in general, earnings results have still been pretty good, generally strong. But at the same time, while those have been strong, companies have been forecasting that the remainder of the year is probably not going to be as strong as they had originally anticipated. And so you have that anticipation that things are going to slow down. Unemployment is steady. It's a solid labor market right now, but the Fed is also taking a wait-and-see approach as it relates to any interest rate adjustments, and the I think prevailing theory is that it probably will be perhaps one adjustment and probably smaller than originally anticipated. So all of that, creates uncertainty, and then you have, looming over all of that, what will happen with tariffs and how significant will that impact be? So, so the uncertainty creates risks, but I think at the same time, risks create opportunity, and I think that's where the tailwind is. And when you look at an organization, or when we think about organizations and employers and brokers and consultants and who they want to work with, having an organization that has a long history of financial success and stability, that has been there in good times and bad, has honored their commitments, all of those things I think present opportunities for us as Prudential to be able to deliver and continue to deliver on the key tenets of what we promise.
Finally, we take a moment to celebrate Prudential's 150th anniversary and discuss how such a strong and resilient history is helping the insurer evolve into the future.
So Prudential was started in 1875 by a gentleman by the name of John Dryden in Newark, New Jersey, and it started with offering burial insurance to working class families. And so, that is, and over the years, we have certainly, built upon that, but we have been unwavering in our commitment to providing that protection and stability for families. And so, as you look at the evolution of insurance, the evolution of the employee benefits industry, we've changed to be able to address those things. But at the end of the day, that financial protection is really at the core of what we do, and it's a very proud history or history that we are very proud of.
Yes, absolutely.
And I love to talk about the thing as we look forward into the future, but just to stay anchored on the things that have always been true about Prudential really aren't going to change. So that goal to provide financial protection, especially to the people that need it most and when others won't, increasing access to financial protection, whether that's insurance or retirement, those values are going to drive us. And we're going to continue to be anchored in the needs of our customers and the needs of our partners in informing the way that we go into the future. I think some of the things that are interesting about as we look forward is access to data and the new insights that we have about our customers, one through surveys like Benefits and Beyond that we talked about, but really there's an overwhelming amount of data about challenges that consumers face, challenges that employers face, how we can help the brokerage community, and really being driven by that desire to help them and to solve their problems, but to do it informed by the actual numbers that can kind of prove our points. And then I think the financial stability and doing things with integrity as we look forward is absolutely critical as well.
That was John Trevisan, Head of Distribution for Group Insurance, and Mark Devine, Vice President, Head of Life, Absence, and Disability Product for Prudential, coming to you live from the Employee Benefits Leadership Forum. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. For more Leaders Edge podcasts, visit leadersedge.com or find us wherever you listen to your podcasts.